Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Shelbyville Now Real Talk. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill.
Hello.
Bo, today we're going to talk about a big abomination. Okay,
A big, beautiful abomination.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. As it was labeled today by somebody that everybody's been paying attention to. So before we dive into this, I want to thank our sponsor today, Norris Plumbing, and we're going to take a break and hear from them, and we'll be right back.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Hour emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-7.
Alrighty, again, thanks to Norris Plumbing there for sponsoring Shelbyville Now, and we welcome them on to Shelbyville Now platform as a sponsor for all your plumbing needs. Norris has been in business a long time through the generations. I know,
generations. I
know the dad. I know the granddad. So they've been around a long time, and they're experts at what they do. So give them a call.
Please do.
And they have 24 hours a day service.
24 hours. He's going to answer the call. You know, if it's the middle of the night, you got a water heater.
Jay will be there.
Jay will be there. Call
him.
All
right. Let's start talking about the big, beautiful abomination. Okay. Elon Musk comes out late yesterday, and you're talking about the big, beautiful bill that, as Donald Trump names it, and he says it's a big abomination. Yeah. And basically, he said today, I can't take it anymore because they basically took Doge and made a mockery of it. He was marking up all this stuff about what needed to be cut. And they said, oh, yeah, rah. It was a good publicity stunt. And they put it right back in the bill.
It was a big publicity stunt. During the time when it was
he didn't know
on.
It though.
He didn't know it. I mean,
he thought he was really there serving the country.
He was serving the country. He did serve the country. The problem is the government running the country didn't listen to him. And if they did listen to him, they said, "Oh, okay," and then they put it back in there. What we're seeing here is things that he cut out that were just pointed out.
Like the transgender monkey experiments are right back in the stupid bill.
And they were pointing that out and just making fun of it. Not to pull it out, just to put it back in. And now, as far as cutting and what Trump ran for on his campaign, was an economic cutting all the wasteful spending. Now look, it's back in there.
This just shows you how gullible these representatives we have are up there. They say, "Oh, we're going to extend the tax cuts," and at the same time create a $2.5 trillion deficit every year for the next 10 years. Yes. And it's not because of the tax cuts, because of the garbage they said they were going to cut, they didn't cut. Okay, it's time for this country to survive. We're going to have some conservative principles. That means we're going to cut and balance the budget and start whittling down this debt with growth. You can't spend your way out of debt.
No, you can't. And when you cut something out, you cut it out, and you don't replace it with more debt. You cut it out. It's almost breaking it down to an individual level, to your personal finance. What can you afford? Like I mentioned in a pre-show, he needs Dave Ramsey. He would say, quit spending, first of all, and then let's work on the debt. I know the government's the debt snowball.
See, here's the thing. Our government, and when I say our government, I'm talking about from Washington, D.C., all the way down to City Hall.
Yes.
All right. I ain't never heard a government official say we're going to cut and we're going to try to save the taxpayers' money. It's always the opposite. It's always about spending more.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that a local government come out and say we're going to trim our budget down this year? No, it's always going the other direction.
Only before the elections will they say that.
Well, that's a lie. That's just a lie.
And I think that the American public is like, well, we're used to them. There's another liar there. I wish someone would stand up and get mad really about the spending that we're doing on local level, on a state level, on a national level.
The only way, Bo, to do that is just everybody just quit sending their money in.
But that's exactly right. But then what would happen? We would all get, some type of things taken away from us.
Well, look, I tell you, that's why the Second Amendment exists.
And that's exactly right. Personal
and
property.
I'm not inciting violence. I'm just saying about standing up to a tyrannical government. It's why the Second Amendment was put in place, and it's going to take some radical moves from our citizens, and that radical move would be everybody, Republican, Democrat, and Independent, stand up and say, guys, y'all ain't being responsible.
It's an American thing.
We need somebody to be responsible with a dadgum calculator and the checkbook.
We only have a few. If you break it down to, say, our county or other surrounding counties, there's just a few level-headed conservatives that are always barking, look, we're going up. We have the same thing with Rand Paul and the other senator there. They're like, hey, we don't need to do this. They're calling them crazy because they're the crazy conservatives, which they're just being responsible. We've got those in our county that are like, hey, we need to say we can do this, but most of the people go through it.
Well, here's the thing. Everything is bundled now. They tie one good thing to about 100 bad things, and they might ridicule you if you vote against it because it's got 100 bad things in it.
If it's got something good about the schools, but also a
$10 million spending bill,
then you are against schools.
You're
if you
against
voted
schools.
Against
exactly.
it. And that is totally wrong.
That's Congress. That's the way Congress operates.
That's right. And now we're operating this way in Bedford County, and I hope we don't see it anymore.
The state, the county, the city, everything operates that way. I'm telling you, our city budget will be voted on one big, beautiful bill, too.
Well, whenever we get somebody strong in there that wants to individualize things, because each thing we do, the government does, is for the people. The people put them in the office, and they should be decided by the people. And if somebody has some input, negative or positive, towards it on each individual issue that we're spending money on, they need the chance to do that instead of saying, well, they can, but it's all voted together. Don't give me that garbage. I mean, that's Washington, D.C. That's government. That's the problem with government. That's why the conservatives got to stand up, got to get out of the house, and got to, do their part as a servant.
Well, here's
the
thing: we voted for who we thought was going to be conservative.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, all right, got them elected. You got the House, you got the Senate, you got the presidency, and we're going to go $5.3 trillion in debt every year for the next 10 years, and that's our first financial move. So we're conservative.
Yeah. So let's look at what possibly could he, if there is anything, the next year when next year's budget, is there something that?
It's played out for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the Republicans, they're supposed to be conservative, say, then we're going to start cutting. Okay, that's we're going to be responsible 5 years from now. It started today, according to what I voted for.
Yes.
It started on the January 21st. It was supposed to start. Now, credit where credit's due. Southern border closed down. Great job.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good things.
All right, that's what we've got done so far. RFK is working on a healthier situation. I don't know how that's going to come out, but if it works out like Doge, it's just nothing but a publicity stunt.
Right.
Doge, and I think Elon Musk feels scammed because they did this to him.
They did,
and he stood up today. All right, and then you got Rand Paul. He's a conservative. He's a libertarian, basically.
He is.
And then you've got Thomas Massey. He said, I can't vote for this much. It's going to put this on our grandkids. Well, they've been saying that since I was a grandkid. And now I'm a granddad.
Well, see, they're doing that because those type of individuals are looking at the big picture. They don't care about the little things that they may get.
Hey, Connie, here's the thing. Stop voting them in office, okay? Here's the thing. I voted for Donald Trump because I thought he was a conservative.
Yes.
And now he's got up there and got bumfoozled by all these thugs that are in D.C.
Let's just be honest. He was our best choice. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. There was no other choice.
But there's as far as an American, the way the American fabric is, I love that. But this right here with this bill, it's not a good, it's not a good move when you're spending more than you're bringing in.
Well, we've done that for the last 50 years.
When you're at least not stopping it or putting some type of. He had Doge. We were supposed to have a little bit of a cut. There's none. There's an increase.
We're going to be billions of dollars of fraud. Fraud, abuse, and corruption, and all that was going to be cut out, but it was put right back in the bill.
And I can't find anything that they've cut out. Only things that they've pointed out. So there's a big difference between Doge when they cut out or they pointed out. Everything that I've seen. And I've done a lot of searching on what has Doge done? What are the fruits of Doge? And all it does is tell me about Doge. There's nothing. All it points is to articles about hey, this cutting. It points out, it doesn't
Yep.
cut out.
It puts it out and say, we recommend cutting this out. Okay, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then, oh, by the way, no, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to wait. We're going to put that back in. The transgender monkey study is staying.
That's the problem. It sneaks right back in at the end, and all they do is want to put the big ticket items that are in the budget. Oh, tax cuts.
But
we like that, but
here's the thing. Everybody's got to get off the party train.
yes,
I'm so
please,
tired of it now.
Please.
The Republican Party has failed this country because we elected a lot of people to go in office and cut this stuff, and every one of them is voting for this garbage. Now, they're being said you're going to vote for a tax cut, extend the tax cut.
That's right.
But then you're going to put right back in an enormous amount of garbage, and when you cut your revenue and you increase your spending, it's automatically a deficit.
Exactly.
Unless you just continue to print money.
And I believe that's the reality we're living in. Where it's worthless money that has no backing with anything, which at a point just gives up and causes what? Inflation or a depression or some type of economic collapse. I mean, it's bound to happen.
All right, let's see if this sounds familiar. Let's just see if this sounds familiar. You got Rand Paul, we've already mentioned, Thomas Massey, Chip Roy, Marjorie Taylor Greene. When they get up and make a speech against this bill or about cutting spending or against something that the mainstream is all pushing through, they're called grandstanders.
Yes. Oh, I've heard that. Okay. I've heard that.
All right,
term.
grandstanders.
Yes.
Are lunatic.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar locally?
Yes, it does. I believe I saw that actual term used.
Just because somebody has the
nerve,
the bravery and the guts enough to ask a legitimate question that makes common sense, they're labeled as a grandstander. Yeah. Just because they bring it up, that means that they're on the right side of the situation. And that's where these four people are.
That's exactly right. And those are the type of four people that don't go out for photo ops and everything. That is grandstanding, not when you're in a committee or in serving your capacity and asking questions that need to be asked.
All right, Shell Rollins, where are the prosecutions of the supposed fraud they found? There's never going to be anything. They put all the fraud right back in this new big bill.
Yeah,
that's the reason Elon Musk is so disgusted.
That is why, and it tells you a lot. I mean, I think he went in there
he was honest about it.
He didn't get paid. He just went in. He wanted to say, hey, this is where some cuts need to happen, and it's back in there. I would feel terrible if I was in
all right, so how do y'all feel about this? This big, beautiful bill is going to cost $2.5 trillion in deficit for the next 10 years, according Elon even came out and said it today. It's going to happen. All right, but before we just give us your opinion on this. Let us know how you stand on it, for it or against it.
Yes, we would like to know.
Are you for adding $2.5 trillion to your what we've got to pay back down the road?
Let's think past this Trump. Don't get the Trump thing. Just look at it as an American.
Yeah, exactly. Is this what we want to do? All right, but we're going to come back. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Ukraine and Russia.
Yes.
But before we do, let's hear from our great sponsors, Norris Plumbing. We'll be right back.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing, call us at 931.
Okay, Mark Henley, wholeheartedly again. Shell Rollins, management said today that Marjorie Taylor Greene said today she didn't know that there were certain things in the bill about AI and states' rights, or she wouldn't have voted for it. They need to stop pushing through bills that aren't even read.
Amen.
Yeah, when you put out a book this thick. No, wait a minute. This thick.
Yeah.
It's 2,200 pages, and you don't know what's in it. It's just a con. The whole thing's a con.
It would take 2 years to read it.
Word for word. I mean, there's so much stuff that they sneak through these bills, just like our county budget, our city budget, our state budget. There's garbage in there. Yes. Nobody even knows it's there.
A lot of times when they mention things several months later, when budget comes, you notice they don't mention it anymore. It's because it got snuck through the bill.
Right.
That's exactly
and that's
what's
happens. Going on. There's no telling what's in this bill that we'll find out down the road. Oh. I can't believe we're paying for that. And it's our money.
It is. And under President Donald Trump.
All right. It seems like everybody's against this that's watching. All right. Okay. Now we're going to shift gears and talk about.
Sound like some real conservatives.
Yeah. here's where we are with the war. Ukraine, of course, made this high-tech move and snuck drones into Russia, hit 4 different locations with their drones. They blew up a third of their nuclear bombers, the bombers that carry the big stuff,
the big
on
planes.
the runway. All right, Putin called it their Pearl Harbor moment. Okay, you know what happened after Pearl Harbor, Bo?
I sure do.
All
There
right,
was
now,
a big retaliation after that.
Donald Trump did not know this happened until a reporter in the United States asked him on the tarmac about it. What's going on with our military and our intelligence?
There has to be a huge miscommunication, to say the least. I mean, that is an obvious. We are the so-called, leaders of the world police, or whatever you want to say, the military, the finest military, and yet we don't find out that there's been some type of attack on an ongoing war. It blows my mind.
Well, you got Lindsey Graham and another senator over a meeting with Zelensky behind the president's back.
Yeah,
they're stirring this thing up. They're trying to get Zelensky to provoke Putin even more, and this is one of the moves I say that Lindsey Graham had something to do with. This guy needs to be, and I agree with Steve Bannon. He should be tried for treason.
Yeah, he has, and he's acted out several times.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a total rhino Republican. He sounds good on a lot of things, but he does stupid things like this. And you don't go behind your president's back to have foreign relations unless you are assigned that. It can cause so many problems. I mean, you got 2 heads talking for the American government, and you don't need that.
And it's not. And the thing about it, you got Germany right now expediting their military spending to the point of it's like they're preparing for a huge war now.
They haven't prepared this much since World War II.
I know, it's scary. Scary. So where does the United States stand? Trump says he's about through with them, trying to create a peace plan, and is going to walk away. That leaves NATO fixing to go head to head in a war, and we're a member of NATO. And I'd say we had something to do with those drones, and the president probably don't have a clue about it.
He probably don't, and it might have came from a prior administration. But let me tell you something, that it's almost time to where we can just keep an eye on Europe unless they affect us. But, let's just do our own thing. Yeah. We need to beef up our security, beef up our borders, keep on being secure here. And just if they want to fight, then let them fight. Give us our money. But no, the people here are making too much money on those wars there, so they won't let it happen, I think.
I know. Well,
I don't know.
They're going to keep firing bullets and missiles because half of Congress is laundering the money back in their own accounts, which are in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they can't be touched. We got criminals in Washington, D.C., Bo, and what can we do about it? It's like a machine.
It is like a machine. It is a machine, and it keeps on putting out these robotic type so-called servants, and they just fall right in line. Apparently, you have to really, I don't know, I wish I knew the recipe.
All right, something to think about. Besant.
Yes, Scott Bessent.
Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary,
let's
worked for George Soros for 18 years as a money manager. George Soros, the globalist, has Donald Trump's ear on a daily basis.
How can he make that misstep in having that advisor?
I don't know.
And how can
That's how you end up with a big, beautiful bill that's going to send us in debt and push us toward collapse closer, faster. That's how you do it, by listening to somebody like him.
I don't like this Bessent guy. Y'all check him out too.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Just something to think about. Are our elected representatives using our money right from Main Street to Pennsylvania Avenue? That's a question.
And should we get criticized when we ask questions that are?
I can tell you the answer.
That are like,
no.
Hey, should we buy that?
We're the bosses, Bo. We should be firing these people right now.
It's time to change that.
I think we should right now recall every single one of them in Congress.
I would love to have that happen. I would love for all that to happen.
All of them.
And I would want them to either explain themselves.
And anybody from Tennessee that voted for this garbage, they're the first on the list.
Well, we know what we've got here.
Yeah,
so, I'm proud to be in Tennessee, and I love our state, but these type of Republicans.
The further you venture away from home, though, the worse it gets, Bo.
It seems so.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. And again, thanks for Norris Plumbing.
We
appreciate them coming in and being a Shelbyville Now sponsor. Appreciate everybody watching. We'll be back again real soon. Ponder on these things and form an opinion and pay attention to what's going on. And don't watch the mainstream media, you got to hunt this stuff up.
Yep,
They're not going to talk about it.
No, they're not.
They're a part of it. Y'all have a good evening.